So, hi everybody, welcome to our talk about XR and Gen AI. Before we get started, I'm Rajat Lokesh, and I'm an XR developer at SLB, and I've been developing prototypes at SLB for almost 5 years now, and with me I have you.
Hello everyone, my name is Cheng, and also you can call me Yuri. And I'm a UX designer for 6 years experience, and right now I work for SLB for about 1.5 years.
All right, so first a little bit about SLB. We are an energy technology company, and we mostly provide services and products for the oil and gas industry. But recently we've also been going into renewable energy as well. And we have over 100,000 employees across the world. And you and I, we work at a center called STIC, which stands for Software Technology Innovation Center, based in Menlo Park. And this is the STIC team on the right. There's only around 40 of us, and what we do at STIC mostly is we explore new technologies, evaluate them, and see what we can do with those technologies, both to improve our own processes and for our clients as well. And one of the things that we do, or one of the technologies that we look at is XR. And with all the hype around Gen AI over the last 2 years, we wanted to see if we can combine the two. And we wanted to answer some of these questions, but we could not answer that last one just yet, so we'll see how that goes. And so we came up with a couple of prototypes that I'll show you now, and we'll go over some of the details a bit later. Starting with remote facility ops. So this we created for the Apple Vision Pro using the Unity Polyspatial API. And the idea here is to kind of simulate what remotely operating a facility would be like using the Apple Vision Pro. And we use Gen AI for the materials and also for to create a robot dog 3D model that goes around the scene. And also some of the code is AI generated. So this is the demo. So as you can see, there's multiple camera views, camera screens that you can see. You can switch the middle one like I'm doing there. And it also switches to the robot view, so you can see the robot's point of view. There we go. And on the right, there is a map, basically, that shows the robot's position in the facility. So again, this is just a very early stage concept prototype that we did. And next up, we have Rig Explorer VR. So the idea here is that there is a person, they're in VR, and they're on a virtual drilling rig. And they can talk to a conversational agent in the scene to learn more about the drilling rig. And we created this using Unity and OpenXR, and it runs on the Quest 3 right now. So we use Gen AI for the skybox, so some of the materials, and also to create another 3D model. Here it's a little cat droid that you can talk to. And this conversational agent is powered by a service called Convey. So let me just play that video. Hello, where am I?
Hello. You are currently on the drilling rig, specifically on the rig floor. Is there anything specific you'd like to know about the rig?
Tell me more about the rig.
I'd be delighted to. The drilling rig is a complex structure designed to explore, extract, and process oil and gas from the Earth's surface. It consists of various components such as the derrick, mud pumps, and drill string, all working together to facilitate the drilling process. What specific aspect of the rig would you like to explore further?
Where else can we go?
Aside from the rig floor where we currently are, we can also go to the monkey board, which is the elevated platform used for making up or breaking out the drill string, or we can go to the ground level. Where would you like to go?
Take me to the monkey board.
Absolutely. Follow me. We're heading to the monkey board.
Tell me more about this place.
Welcome to the monkey board. This is the high-flying platform of the drilling rig, located near the top of the derrick. It's used for the crucial task of working with the drill string, and it offers a unique perspective of the rig's operations. It's quite an adrenaline-pumping experience to be here. What would you like to know more about?
All right, so that was the demo. Again, this is another very early stage prototype we were just messing around with. Next up, we have Project Warbird. So this is just a personal project of mine. where I bought these really expensive light sticks. I bought 2 of them, 1 for each hand, and they were just gathering dust for a few months, so I wanted to do something with them. And I figured I'd use this as an opportunity to create a Unity project, and I used some Unity packages that I hadn't used before, like HDRP, Cinemachine, Shader Graph, VFX Graph. And I figured I'll also use this as an opportunity to mess around with some Gen AI tools. So all the 3D models that you're about to see, all of the audio, including the music, the dialogue, and the sound effects, and some of the code as well, was AI generated here. So let me play that. Oops, sorry.
Enemy ship detected, Captain.
Looks like he's making a run for it.
The storm is interfering with missiles. Recommend switching to guns.
All right, hold on tight, Rusty. I'll get us within firing range.
Try leading the target, maybe.
What do you think I'm trying to do?
Target destroyed. Nice shooting, Captain.
Thanks, Rusty. Now let's get out of here.
Enemy destroyers detected, Captain. I recommend taking evasive action.
Charge up that jump drive, Rusty. We are leaving.
Initiating jump in 3, 2, 1.
All right, I didn't get time to add the jump animation, so that's it. What happened? Okay, never mind. All right, so those are all the prototypes, and now I'm going to hand it off to you to take us through some of the processes that we went through, starting with concept generation.
Thanks, Rajat. So we start at the concept generation, which is a very important part in the whole experience design process, because you will decide whether our experience is attractive or compelling enough. So the first step we are doing is to use ChatGPT to help us to generate something. So how we do that is actually we ask some very well-ranged question to ChatGPT, and it helps us to analyze those questions in some divergent thinking. And you can see that even there are only 2 people in those projects, but we can do tons of brainstorm. And actually, we collect a lot of great insights from ChatGPT from different angles. And after we collect those insights, we come up with some storyline. And then I use the Midjourney to create those storyboards. You can see that the storyboard include the themes and the user flow into it, and which can allow me to quickly confirm the themes with the Rajat, confirm the story logic or the user flow. And also it could help us to reduce misunderstanding and ensure the alignment between us. And the next step, I also use the Midjourney to generate some different style of the image of the drilling rig project. You can see that it's give us such intuitive way to make the comparison between the different style, and it could allow us to make the very quick decision about those vision. We don't need to count off our own imagination or search tons of reference to doing for those decisions. And after compare those different styles, we finally decide to use the realistic style, because you can see that it is more detailed, has more detail, it's more serious, and then it could help us more convenience to convey the professional information to our user. And now we go into the user experience design. As you can tell, I'm a very traditional UX designer. I usually design the website and application, so I don't have much experience in the XR design. So this time is definitely a new challenge for me. And in my daily workflow is that my device interaction, sometimes they will changes. Also, as a designer, we always need to handle some new, very niche design topic like drilling rig. So in the past, I need a lot of time to learn some new knowledge in the beginning of many projects. But right now, with the help of AI, it can help me to do more multidisciplinary research. It was like a very patient man tool can answer my question in all kinds of question, I mean. So it could lower my entry boundary to different subjects. And next, I go into the competitor analyze process. So previously, when designers do such analyze, we need to be at like a smart detective, because we need to dig into our competitors' public data, their hidden data like revenue or conversion rates, and also we need to find their client review. But right now, with the help of the AI tools like Careful, it could help me to get a lot of data from over 30 resources. And then they can even update those data every week. And then for such tools, they even don't have like a region or language restriction. You can even use them to do a worldwide research. So as a designer, we don't need to dig in those data and information anymore. We just need to take a look of those data and then make a final design decision. Well, in the next step, we go into the most torture part for most of the designer, which is the visual decision, or we can say it's the interface design. Why I say it's the most torture part? Because for most of our stakeholders who don't have like a design background, usually it is hard for them to imagine what they want or describe what they want. So can you imagine what is colorful black or more convincing style? It is hard, right? So because vision is so abstract and so personal stuff, so previously you can see that the designer need to have a tons of scratch, tons of color pattern or ideas and show them to our stakeholders and then for our bad communication. But right now, with the help of the Midjourney, actually not only the designer can generate tons of color pattern within the few seconds, but also, our stakeholders can express themselves or describe what they want with the help of the Midjourney, which can absolutely lower our communication time. The next step, going to the prototype design. So right now, there's some AI tools like User will focus on prototype. I would say that they are very friendly to the UI. You can see, you can explore some style you like from Behance and upload those image into such an AI tool. And then they could replace all your design within seconds to your style you want. And also, it's also friendly to replace the language to your for your needs. But I would say it's still hard for those AI tools to understand your UX flow. But if in the future, if those tools can more understand the user flow or the information architecture of the product, you could definitely make the better decision or make a more accurate prototype. And we are looking forward to those updates in the future. And then we can take a look of the final design that with the help of the AI. So you can say, well, it looks good, right? It looks nice, and it really don't take me a lot of time to build them. So yeah, I think it's helpful. And after the final design, there's one step is that we can keep using those AI tools to test the accessibility and inclusivity of our product. As for the accessibility, usually designers count on their work experience to analyze our design. For example, what is the font size? Well, how big of the button? What is the layout of those buttons? It counts on our work experience. But right now, with the help of the AI, it could help to give you a very good conclusion about its accessibility. Within few seconds, they just need to scan your design, and that's all. Their 3 seconds work can replace the 3 years work experience from designer. And also, it's very friendly for you to use those AI tools to adapt your design to certain group. For example, some colorblind group or some farsighted group. And when it comes to the inclusivity design, so sometimes when designer design something, we will unconsciously bias to certain group. For example, the designer always try to design something for themselves, but we can realize that we are doing this. But for such tasks that have a certain criteria and very neutral stuff, AI can actually do a better job than human. So they could analyze the color, the design emotion, and the language, and the contents within our design to detect whether you have the bias. In the next step, we go into the assets generation. So firstly, there are some AI tools, for example, like Botgate Labs. You can use your natural language and to generate some very beautiful QMaps within seconds. And also it's easily to modify them. For example, you want to grow some tree on desert, or you want to change the color of the forest. It's very easy to do that. And also there are some other tools. For example, like Polygon, it could help you to generate some material. If you need some very general and high capability material, you can use the task to input it. And you can see if you don't have a very high accuracy requirement, you can use a prompt to generate some material. And then if you have some very special requirement, and you have you want your material contains a lot of detail, you can first use the Midjourney to generate some 2D image, and then use those images to generate the material. So you can see that this is a true scenario. The first one, the Generative one, we use the Polygon to generate some 3D material, and then the other one we use the Unity Muse to generate it. You see the effect actually looks nice, and then it's also very convenient for you to replace it or modify it. And next part, I deliver to Rajat to go further about the 3D model.
Thank you. All right, so 3D model generation. There are two main ways to do this. The first one is image to 3D. So I created this image with DALL-E, which is a vampiric dragon star destroyer from hell. This is not exactly what I wanted, so I tried a different prompt, and it's closer to what I wanted. And then I used DALL-E's in-painting feature to simplify it a little bit. And then I put it into a 3D model generation tool called Rodin, and that's what I ended up with. It lost a few of its teeth and the wings, but at least it got some horns, and yeah, it's definitely good enough for a prototype, though. Here's another example with a mech. Again, this image was created with DALL-E. I put it into a few 3D model generation tools, and these are the results. Again, probably not production ready, but definitely good enough for prototyping. Although for prototyping, I feel text to 3D is a much faster way to do it, because you just input a text prompt and you get a 3D model out of it. So here I'm using Luma AI. And their Genie 3D model generation tool to create these with simple prompts. Here are some more examples from the demos that I showed you, again using Genie. And here are some more examples of the cute flying cat droid wearing a hard hat with different models. All right, so audio. So all the audio in Project Warbird was AI generated. So the voice and the sound effects were created with 11 labs. And here's an example of a sound effect where the prompt was a large cannon firing. And when I change it to sci-fi laser cannon firing, it changes to this. All right, so we have music as well, created by Gen AI tools called Suno and Udio. So this first one is a song about an alien cat that loves cake. And it also gives you a nice album artwork. All right, so that was just the chorus, but it actually generated a full 3-minute song, and it was pretty interesting. All right, next we have K-pop. Do we have any K-pop fans here? Anybody? Nobody? Okay, that's surprising. So then you won't be able to notice what's wrong with this. Let me play it, though. All right, so that was just a quick clip. But turns out none of the lyrics were actually in Korean. The Gen AI just made up some language and just used that. So I just added this here to show that you don't always get the output that you want or that you expect. All right, so we have 3D animation next. This is text to 3D using deep motion, where you just input a prompt and it gives you these animations. But most tools that I've seen, they only seem to support humanoid characters. Here's one more using another tool called Motion. Here, getting punched in the face and falling down. The person or the model on the right, he gets punched, but it's not in the face, but at least he falls down. All right, so some observations with asset generation. Reprompting and regenerating are part of the process. It's an iterative process, and you'll never get exactly what you imagined, although having some domain knowledge and using prompt engineering can lead to better results. All right, so next we have some development tools. So for everything here, I used either Unity Muse, Microsoft Copilot, or GPT-4o using a plugin for Visual Studio called Tab 9. So what I noticed is for simple scripts like AI navigation, like you see here, it does really well. I didn't have to change anything. And also for this camera switching script that I showed in the demo earlier. But when I tried more complex scripts, like I tried this object pooling optimization technique, it didn't really give me what I wanted. I had to go in and modify some of the scripts, and also for the ship UI as well, where I was trying to track the enemy target with the green box, but the box was all over the place. I had to go in and fix it. And when I gave it even more complex tasks, like creating a 6 degree of freedom flight controller, it completely failed, especially because I was asking it to simulate the individual thrusters, and it didn't work. And another thing was where I asked it to convert the projectile system to Unity's ECS system, and that didn't work as well. So some other use cases, though, while developing, project setup, documentation lookup, code refactoring, and documenting code. So all of these work reasonably well, although I should say that for project setup, when I first got to Vision Pro and I tried to do it, it told me to install the MetaQuest SDK. So I'd say just be careful with the results it gives you, especially when you're dealing with the latest SDKs. So some observations with development. Code editor AI plugins are always better than using browser-based AI because they can use your code base as context to give you better results. And you can't always, like I mentioned, it can't always deal with the latest SDKs. Sometimes it gives you wrong results, especially with if an SDK had been updated very recently. And modular code leads to simpler prompts, and it leads to better code generation as well. So even more reason to have modular code now. Okay, those are all the reasons why you would use Gen AI, but I also wanted to touch on some issues with Gen AI. And this deserves an entire talk on its own, honestly, but I'll do my best with just one slide. So there are a lot of ethical issues with how these tools are trained, because a lot of these tools, they use artists' work, writers' works, and they might not necessarily have taken permissions from them to do that. And then there are potential legal issues as well. OpenAI is currently, I think, involved in 3 different lawsuits regarding copyright, so we'll have to see how that goes. And there are potential social issues, because these tools can definitely impact jobs, and that is another thing to consider before using these. And finally, there are a lot of financially fragile AI startups these days over the last 2 years, so it's something to keep in mind, because if you start using some of their products in your workflows and then they go bankrupt, you'll have to kind of restart your process. So that's our talk, and these are all the tools that we mentioned in the presentation, if you'd like to try them out yourselves. And thank you.
All right, we have time for maybe one question, if somebody has a question for you and Lokesh. Yes, Rajat.
Thank you. Great talk. Thanks for detailing out some of the tools that you've used. I was wondering if you found something where if you have an existing repo, GitHub, that you can feed to that model and then have it actually analyze your code base and things of that nature.
Yeah, definitely. So you get a lot of these Visual Studio, or even for other code editors, AI tools, that if you download a repo, you can use that as context to then get better results. Although, since we mostly deal with prototypes, we haven't tried that on like really large code bases yet. So I'm not sure how much of that you can actually fit into the AI's context. So that's something we'll have to check, though.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Let's hear it one more time for you and Rajat. All right, we've got 5